assure Angelenos that we are prepared.
Tonight, people all across Southern California are bracing for soaring temperatures and the threat of wildfires as a dangerous heat wave is about to set in. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says firefighting equipment is being pre-positioned in advance of what the National Weather Service is calling a dangerous heat event. Forecasters are expecting gusty winds that potentially can fuel large wildfires. Let's give you a live look at LA tonight, and people all across the region are being warned that they have one more day before the extreme heat sets in. Fox 11's Nick Garcia shows us how people in the community, as well as first responders, are preparing.
This is a dangerous heat event. This recurrence rate of this particular magnitude is once every 2 to 4 years or so.
The hot weather has people seeking shade and cutting their time outdoors short.
We literally were going on our walk and we're like, okay, this is way too hot.
Also top of mind for these friends. You concerned about fire risk with this increased heat?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that earlier this morning when I first got outside, but I mean, hopefully it's not so dry, so hopefully, things will be good and there won't be any more fires like what we had.
It's top of mind for city officials too, especially given how the weather contributed to the Palisades and Eaton fires earlier this year.
I want to assure Angelenos that we are prepared.
Governor Newsom has ordered additional resources, including ground and air crews, to be pre-positioned throughout the weekend in Los Angeles County, ready to tackle any fire that sparks. That's in addition to the increased presence already in LA.
LAFD will be augmenting and pre-deploying critical firefighting services throughout the city in high hazard areas.
The greatest risk areas will be north of the city in the San Fernando Valley.
It's going to be important that folks in those areas, say around the San Gabriel Mountains, that they're very ready to take evacuation orders seriously.
And that was Fox 11's Nick Garcia reporting tonight. The soaring temperatures are going to be a concern beyond Southern California this week. Extreme heat warnings are also set to take effect across much of the Southwest. This is a live look tonight at downtown Phoenix, where you can see the sun is setting, and a warning will be taking effect tomorrow morning in Arizona for extreme heat. The Las Vegas Valley also facing a similar threat as well. For more, let's bring in KTVU Chief Meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the conditions that are bringing us this extreme heat. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, summertime pattern. This big area of high pressure is building into portions of the west, and that means temperatures soaring from Phoenix to Los Angeles, even toward the San Francisco Bay Area. So here you can see for Los Angeles, Thursday through Saturday, temperatures downtown could be in the mid to upper 90s, around 95 to 98 degrees. These are all the areas under extreme heat warnings, as you can pick out for parts of Arizona into southern Nevada, and also including parts of Southern California. So these temperatures easily around 95 to 105 degrees for parts of, as you can see just outside of Los Angeles. Those temperatures could be soaring up above 100 degrees. You've been hearing about the fire danger with this hot, dry pattern. Fire danger will be going up, and there's even a slight chance of a thunderstorm, less than a 10% chance, but just that possibility that could lead to some dry lightning and some fire starts. So a red flag fire warning from Wednesday through Saturday. Winds will be around 15 to 25 miles an hour and very dry. Relative humidity around 8 to 20%. So hot and dry for parts of the west over the coming days. Here's a look at the satellite, where you can see some clouds moving up into the Pacific Northwest and some scattered rain showers, some thunderstorm activity, as you can pick out parts of New Mexico moving into eastern Arizona. This was seen today, as you can see out towards Seattle. Temperatures in the mid 70s. This camera picking up on some cloud cover. In the San Francisco Bay Area, at least some sunshine over San Francisco. Temperatures in the upper 60s. And then out toward the Phoenix area, still the heat will be building over the coming days. High today of 108 degrees in Phoenix earlier this afternoon. Currently, it is 104 degrees in Las Vegas. Reno's 85. Portland, Oregon in the upper 70s, 78 in Seattle in the upper 60s. So here's the plan for tomorrow. Some clouds, at least some clouds for the morning up in Seattle. It's a warmer pattern for the Bay Area. It's definitely warming up for Los Angeles. Dangerous heat building in eventually. And you can see out toward Denver's temperatures in the 90s with lots of sunshine. Here's the forecast model picking up on this. As you can see, not much of the way of organized stormy activity out here, just some clouds out here in the Pacific and possibly some rain showers showing up closer to Salt Lake City for tomorrow afternoon. Up and down the West Coast, there we go with Olympia in the upper 70s, San Jose in the Bay Area upper 80s, but Concord in the upper 90s. Down in Southern California, triple digits. And of course, the triple digits, you'd expect those out toward Tucson and Scottsdale, Arizona for tomorrow afternoon. So here's the breakdown. As you can see, kind of the distribution of the heat showing up out toward Phoenix, out toward Southern California, out toward Denver. Not nearly as hot up in Portland and Seattle. And then San Francisco as the fog in the morning clearing out into the afternoon hours. But we'll definitely keep an eye on that heat. It's going to be a big factor, at least over the next 3 to 4 days, Alex.
Yeah, really dangerous temperatures. Okay, yeah. Mark, thank you. In Southern California, a father has been arrested after his child was left inside a hot car and died. This happened yesterday in El Centro, near the U.S.-Mexico border. Police say Jose Hernandez left his toddler inside a parked car outside the family's home as temperatures in that area reached 114 degrees. This marks the 4th time this year that a child has died after being left in a hot vehicle in California. There have been 22 hot car-related deaths nationwide so far this year. And the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has some advice for parents and caregivers to prevent tragedies like this one. They recommend placing the child's belongings, such as a diaper bag, in the front passenger seat as a visual reminder that a child is in the car. They also suggest making it a habit to open the back door every time you park, ensuring no one is left behind. And they also suggest you confirm with other passengers in the car who will be getting the children out after you park. Republican lawmakers are filing a lawsuit trying to stop California Governor Gavin Newsom from moving forward with his redistricting plan. The emergency petition argues the governor's plan attempts to bypass the 30-day public review period required by the California Constitution. The lawmakers want the state Supreme Court to put the redistricting plan on hold. They're being represented by a law firm founded by Harmeet Dillon, who is the current Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights for the Department of Justice. Democratic Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas put out a statement in response to this effort by Republicans, writing in part, quote, "Republicans filed this lawsuit to stop Californians from voting. That's anti-American and anti-democratic. In this election, Californians can stop Donald Trump's assault on our state by voting yes." California Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley is calling on House Speaker Mike Johnson to take up a vote on a bill that he's authored that would ban mid-decade redistricting nationwide. The bill would nullify new maps adopted by any state before the 2030 census. The House Speaker has slammed California's attempt to redistrict, but has not said anything about the efforts underway in Texas by Republicans. It's unclear whether the House Speaker will take up Kiley's bill for a vote. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, neighbors noticed a smell coming from a Las Vegas funeral home for months. Tonight, the coroner moves in to relocate nearly 150 bodies. Plus, dangerous anti-ICE demonstrations in Oregon prompt a school to find a new campus.
More and more gas and chemicals were being used near and around our playground and gardens, making it seemingly unsafe for the future.
Nearly 150 bodies at a Las Vegas funeral home were moved to a new location today. The Clark County coroner says the remains were moved after McDermott's funeral home and cremation services experienced delays. Fox 5 obtained a report showing one body was at the funeral home for 252 days. A neighbor said a smell was coming from the home for months. The Clark County coroner says it's working through each case with care, compassion, and urgency. The owner of McDermott's funeral home and cremation services has not responded to a request to comment on why it took so long to cremate those remains. In New Mexico, an appeals court today put on hold a new law requiring a 7-day waiting period for all gun purchases. In a 2-1 decision, the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled the waiting period likely infringes on citizens' Second Amendment rights, and the case was sent back to the lower court. The law passed last year This law was passed last year, and supporters say it ensures that more time for federal background checks can happen for gun buyers. Opponents, though, say delayed access to weapons could put victims of domestic violence and others in danger. More than a dozen states have waiting periods for gun purchases. That includes California, Colorado, Washington, and Hawaii. We have an update tonight on the California man who admits he shipped weapons to North Korea. Shenghua Wen has been sentenced to 8 years in prison. Video from last year shows FBI agents removing evidence from the Chinese national's home in Ontario, outside of Los Angeles. Investigators say North Korean agents paid him $2 million to purchase weapons and ship the equipment from the port of Long Beach. The weapons were expected to be used during a surprise attack on South Korea. Well, state leaders across the West have a lot to say about today's deadline by the Trump administration to comply with the elimination of sanctuary policies. Earlier this month, the Trump administration released a list of what it calls sanctuary jurisdictions. Western states on that list include Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Colorado. And while the entire state of New Mexico is not listed as a sanctuary state, the city of Albuquerque is. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says officials in those jurisdictions who obstruct immigration enforcement could potentially face criminal consequences. Tonight, Fox 13's A.J. Janavel reports that Washington's governor says he's ready for a fight.
In Governor Bob Ferguson's letter, he calls Pamela Bondi's actions embarrassing and disgraceful, and calls the Trump administration out for what he says are attempts to become an authoritarian government.
Two heavyweights in law step into the ring: United States Attorney General Pamela Bondi and Washington Governor and former Attorney General of the state, Bob Ferguson. Bondi throwing the first punch, sending a letter to Ferguson reading in part, "Your jurisdiction has been identified as one that engages in sanctuary policies and practices that thwart federal immigration enforcement to the detriment of the interests of the United States. This ends now." Ferguson firing back Tuesday with his own letter, responding in part, saying, "Never. I am not intimidated by you or the president."
I would not have expected, as a governor of the state, to receive a letter from the U.S. Attorney General threatening to criminally prosecute me and other state officials over the Keep Washington Working Act. That was not something I had on my bingo card when I got elected, that's for sure.
The Keep Washington Working Act restricts how much local police can enforce federal immigration laws. Bondi is not only threatening to charge Ferguson and other officials with crimes if they don't change the state's ways, she's also threatening to cut federal funding.
We've got many challenges with the federal government right now in terms of our budget. About 28% of the state budget comes from federal dollars.
That's billions of dollars the people of Washington would lose out on. Ferguson says when it comes to the Keep Washington Working Act, there's no compromising.
We're not going to change that law and weaken it in response to these threats. That's not going to happen for a lot of reasons. But a key reason is because we believe that is core to our values as a state.
Also in Ferguson's letter, he says he's no stranger to battling the Trump administration in court. As the Attorney General, Bob Ferguson had 55 wins and 3 losses against the Trump administration during his first presidency. Reporting in Olympia, I'm A.J. Janavel, Fox 13 News.
And a number of West Coast cities and counties received letters demanding changes to their sanctuary ordinances. But one expert told us there isn't much the federal government can do.
San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Santa Clara County, that they're not going to change. I don't think that Bondi and the Trump administration are going to have any leg to stand on here, because the jurisdictions we're talking about do cooperate when they have the information.
Professor Bill Hing from the University of San Francisco says local law enforcement often do not ask about immigration status in sanctuary jurisdictions, so that if federal authorities ask them for that information, they can honestly say they do not have it. And you can have a look at how jurisdictions across the country are responding to the Trump administration's demand to eliminate sanctuary policies by heading to our website, westcoastwrap.com. We have a full list there. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was in New Mexico today to announce some planned changes for the southern border wall. She credited the recently passed budget bill with allowing continued construction on the wall, which she says is being built at the pace of a half-mile per day. According to Nome, President Trump specifically requested for the wall to be painted black so the metal will get hotter in the sun, making it more difficult to climb.
If you look at the structure that's behind me, it's tall, which makes it very, very difficult to climb, almost impossible. It also goes deep into the ground, which would make it very difficult, if not impossible, to dig under.
Nome also announced plans for new technology at the border wall once it's complete, including lights, cameras, and ground sensors. Mexico's president denies collaborating with the U.S. government on a new border security program. Today, President Claudia Sheinbaum said her country has made no agreement with the Drug Enforcement Administration to implement Project Portero. Yesterday, the DEA announced Project Portero would target people who control drug trafficking routes. It claimed Mexico's government was involved. President Sheinbaum says 4 members of Mexican law enforcement did attend a workshop about the project, but no collaboration agreement is in effect. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico and the DEA have not yet responded to her position on this situation. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, scientists keeping a close watch on Hawaii's Kilauea volcano. Up next, what they expect to happen next at one of the world's most active volcano sites. Plus, an arcade favorite has roots right here in the West. Tonight, the makers of Zoltar share what they believe is their magic.
I think people have always been fascinated by fortune teller machines. I mean, it's like one of the oldest arcade games there is.
Zoltar is here to tell you you can believe it.
A man set for execution by firing squad in Utah will not have his death sentence commuted. Today, the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole rejected Ralph Menzies' request to commute his sentence, saying it did not find cause. He has one more chance to avoid execution with a hearing scheduled this Thursday before Utah's Supreme Court. For now, Menzies' execution date is set for September 5th. He was convicted of the 1986 murder of a woman. The so-called doomsday mom, Lori Vallow Daybell, is back in Idaho tonight to serve a life sentence for murder. Vallow Daybell was extradited from Arizona early yesterday. This video was released by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. She received 2 life sentences in Arizona for plotting the fatal shooting of her 4th husband and conspiring in the attempted murder of her former nephew-in-law. Vallow Daybell will spend life in prison in Idaho, where she was convicted of killing 2 of her children and her 5th husband's ex-wife. Scientists say they are expecting Hawaii's Kilauea volcano to start gushing lava in the coming days. Kilauea is known to be one of the most active volcanoes in the world, followed closely by its neighbor volcano, Mauna Loa. This would be Kilauea's 31st time blowing magma since December.
In Hawaii, we have 2 large, very active volcanoes, Kilauea and Mauna Loa. They have very, we call mafic or magnesium and iron-rich lavas that differ from the kind of lavas that we see in most of the mainland volcanoes that are more explosive. These are hotter, they come more directly from the interior of the earth, and so they're not as explosive as what we normally see. They're more fluid.
And the U.S. Geological Survey will have cameras set up for a live stream of the eruption for anyone who wants to get a close-up look. That should be fascinating to see. All right, we're getting an inside look tonight at the company that makes the popular animatronic fortune teller Zoltar. It's based in southern Nevada. Fox 5's Victoria Saha has the story tonight.
Wisdom is priceless.
And the man behind Zoltar's wisdom is Olaf Stanton, owner and founder of Characters Unlimited.
In 2006, we stumbled onto the Zoltar trademark, which they had not trademarked Zoltar since the movie in 1988.
Olaf, explain to me what goes into making Zoltar.
We start with making a cast of the head. That's made out of a rigid latex material, and then we send that to our guys that do the animation in it. Makes the eyes move, makes the mouth move, and then we got the body cavity, which has an arm movement and a head movement in it.
But before they made Zoltar, Stanton, a Wisconsin native, made and sold characters right out of his car.
Sometimes we'd have to sleep in the van because we didn't have a room or we didn't make a sale yet, but we started literally with nothing.
From nothing to a production house filled with different characters.
Hope I get on Channel 5 News.
The main attraction, of course, is Zoltar himself, with 4,000 of the fortune teller machines sold worldwide.
Why do you think it's gotten so popular?
Well, I think people have always been fascinated by fortune teller machines. I mean, it's like one of the oldest arcade games there is.
So, of course, I had to give it a try.
He who laughs last thinks slowest. Stay alert, my friend.
The heart of a grateful man is delighted to return a benefit received.
Okay, while I processed my fortune, Stanton says the orders for Zoltar are all different. This is a DJ Zoltar ready to be shipped out.
We're taking Zoltar to the next level.
Where do you think that next level is?
I just keep plugging along with like hard work and perseverance, and you just take opportunities as they come.
And the worldwide name is backed up with the help of Stanton's children, helping make every order that comes in.
Zoltar is here to tell you you can believe it.
Believe it or not, it's all done right here in Boulder City, Nevada. Victoria Saha, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
All right, fascinating to see how they're made. Air Canada has reached an agreement with its flight attendant union to end a strike that has been affecting air travel across the country and, of course, airports here in the West. This strike began on Saturday, affecting an estimated 130,000 travelers a day. Canada's government ruled the strike was unlawful and ordered the flight attendants back to work yesterday, but the union defied that order. Negotiations picked up last night, and the two sides reached an agreement with the help of a mediator. The union said the preliminary agreement will guarantee flight attendants will be paid for work done while planes are on the ground. Air Canada says flights will gradually resume tonight. Well, a waterfront park in San Francisco is moving closer to completion. Groundbreaking was held today on the final phase of the project in the Bayview neighborhood. India Basin Park is being combined with another nearby park to create a 10-acre destination right on the waters of the bay. The Recreation and Parks Department says the site will close a critical gap in the San Francisco Bay Trail, the trail that runs around the bay. It will also feature a cookout terrace, a boathouse, and a lawn leading to a gravel beach.
But more importantly, this is about completing a dream, creating a place by the Bayview, for the Bayview, and shaped by the voices and values of this community.
And that park is also going to feature a renovated playground. You see some of the renderings here. This includes 2 basketball courts with stadium seating. There is also going to be adult fitness stations as well throughout the park, and it's going to be a great addition to the waterfront right there along the San Francisco Bay. All right, that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. And before we head out, another reminder that you can stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering for you across the West Coast by heading to our website. It's westcoastwrap.com. And you can stream all our shows on your smart TV. All you need to do is download that free Fox Local app. Hope you have a great night.